So we're going to create a VLAN, and we're going to do that using the CLI, or the command line interface. So first we're going to drag two switches, because we're going to try to connect three VLANs, create three VLANs in each switches, or let's make three switches already, so that later on we can okay, let's do it like this. We can do it like this also. Then we're going to create 3 computers per switch, 2, 3, and okay, so the other 3 will be here. So we're going to label it. We're going to use the IP address that will be assigning for the labeling, 168.1. So for each, I'm going to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. 7, 8, and 9. Okay, so next step is we're going to label each of these service. I'm just gonna do a little of arrangement here. Okay. So we're going to connect them to the switches. We have not yet we have just labeled it, but we have not yet placed the configured the IP configuration. So we're going to put the IP configuration for each of the computers. So this is 2, and then 3 IP configuration. This is 3. Just click on the subnet mask, and automatically subnet mask will be populated automatically based from the IP address that was given. So this next one is 5. So you can actually label it differently, but for purposes that you can do this faster, you just made the label as at the same time there it's gonna be their IP address is their label at the same time. Okay, so that's what matters most, that we will be able to identify what IP address is that computer using or assigned to. Let me check the other one if I did it correctly. That's 5. Yes, that's 5. Next is 6. Desktop IP configuration 6. Click on the subnet mask. So next is this 7. Desktop IP configuration. This is 7. Then this is 8. Desktop IP configuration. This is 8. And this is 9. 9. Okay. So we will now connect them to the switches, to their own switches. So we can actually we can treat this as if this switch is from first floor, second floor, and third floor, or from office to office. We can also do that. Okay, so let's connect them. We will just follow the IP address and assign it to the ports. Anyway, we just have few computers per switch, so we can do that. We have the luxury of doing that. But you may opt not to do so also. You may assign your own port if you like to, for as long as you remember what port you connected it, because later when we assign the VLANs, it is very important that we are able to identify which port is connected to that VLAN. Okay, so next now is connection. So what type of connection? From PC to switch, it's straight through. So this one is 1 because this is 1, and then 2, and then 3. Okay, so the others also, this is 5. We're going to use 5. Going to use 4, and then 6. Then for the next switch also, this I think is 7. So 7, and then 8, and then 9. Let's check the other one. Let's double check it out. Wait, let's connect this first. This is 9. Okay, so let's check this. Why this is red? So 2, we connect it to 2. Why is it not connected? Let's check the IP address. It's 192.168.1.2. Okay. Let's, maybe it was not connected properly. Let's try to remove the connection and do it again. I think it was not the Ethernet. So this one is the Ethernet, and that's gonna be 2. So I think it's gonna be okay already. Let's try to check. This should be working okay. We check the PDU or do the ping. Successful. Oops, sorry. Delete. Successful. Okay. Successful. And we're just negotiating this one. Successful. So okay, our connections are working fine. So we're going now to connect. But we need to, okay, let's try to identify the VLANs. So let's put some label, sample. So we're going to create, so this is sample staff. VLAN 20 is for faculty or admin. This one, admin. This is VLAN 30, and this is for the students. So we're going to distribute VLANs so that we will be able to test it later. So sorry. So VLAN 10 is for admin, so we'll have 3 computers for that. So we're going to assign one here, one here, and one here. Okay, so next is VLAN 20 faculty. So one here, one here, and one here. Oops, sorry. And then lastly is for the students, VLAN 30 students. So here, one here, one here, and one here. Okay, so we're going to we have 3 VLANs. That means we have to configure also these 3 VLANs for each of each of these switches. Okay, switches. Okay, so now we're going to connect we need to create VLANs first. So if we are able to, these are simple steps. Basically, if we're able to get it in one switch, we're gonna be able to do that the same way with the other switches. So let's try to configure first this first switch. So how do we do that? We are going to go to the CLI, or which stands for command line interface. The first command to issue is enable. So we can use en or enable. Enable, enter, and then let's display what VLANs we have. So we can use the command show VLAN or show VLAN brief. Okay, so that lesser information is displayed, and this is what's important. So basically the default VLAN is 1, and all the ports in the switch belongs to VLAN 1, the default. So we're going to add how many VLANs? 3 VLANs, VLAN 10, 20, and 30. So how are we going to do that? In the command line interface, we need to shift to configuration mode. So how do we do that? Config terminal or config T, or you can type config terminal, and then we need to access one by one. So basically this is port 1 or FA01, which stands for this, and this one in this computer, FA02 for this computer, FA03 for this computer. So we're gonna assign them each for the VLAN, but first we have to create VLANs here because the VLAN 10, 20, and 30 are not yet present. So how do we do that? The command is VLAN, and then the number VLAN 10. Start with first with 10, and then the name. So what's the name? VLAN 10, the name is admin. Okay, exit so that we can create another VLAN. Same, VLAN 20, enter, then press name. What's VLAN 20? Faculty. Enter, and then exit again. The last VLAN to create is VLAN 30, and then name is students. Okay, let's exit twice so that we can go to the mode where we can issue the show VLAN command. Okay, show VLAN brief or show VLAN. Let's try the show VLAN. So, let's see what it's going to give us. So basically this is what happened. So we already created the 10, the 20, and the 30, but there are no ports yet assigned to it. So we're going to assign this one here, this one, so per each of the VLAN. So it shows more because we did not type the VLAN show brief. So you have to press again until it's done displaying what it wants us to know. Okay, so next step is we're now going to assign the ports. Okay, so how do we do that? Again, we need to go into the configuration mode or config T or configure terminal. So config T will do okay. Now we need to access one by one the port. So how do we do that? We need 3 sequence of 3 lines of command to be able to assign per port the virtual LAN. So interface, we have to access the port 1, port 2, and port 3. So start with port 1, which stands for FA0/1. Next command is switch port and access a mode access. Press enter, and then the other command, last one, is we need to assign now access to which VLAN is that? Which VLAN is FA01 or 192.168.1.1 VLAN 10. That's VLAN 10. So switch port access VLAN 10. Okay, so it's now assigned. Let's see if it was really assigned. Let's go back to the mode where we can see. So show VLAN brief. So just type the brief. Okay, here we can now see that FA01 is not here anymore in the default. It is now transferred here to the 10 admin. So same process we're gonna do for the 20 and the 30. Okay, so again config T, enter, and then next is interface, FA0/2, enter, switch port, mode access, switch port access. FA02 or 192.168.1.2 is faculty or VLAN 20. VLAN 20. Okay, let's proceed now to 3. Exit just once, and then again interface FA03, FA/3, FA0/3. So switch port. Oops, what happened? What have I done? Okay, sorry. So next is interface, switch port, mode access. What I did was just press the arrow key up so that it recalls the previous command. Next is in switch port access VLAN. Now this is going to be VLAN 30. Okay, let's try to check if what we did was right. Exit and show VLAN brief. There, we did it correctly because FA01 to 10, VLAN 10, VLAN 20, FA02, VLAN 30, FA03. Okay, so basically, if we ping within this, earlier we had it successful, but now it's not gonna be successful anymore because they are in different VLAN. Okay, so let's do the same now with these other switches. So we access this, same process. What did we do? Let me move this one here so that you can see here. So CLI enable, and then switch. I'm not gonna, since we know already the steps, we're gonna do it directly already. So now we're going to create the VLAN, 3 VLANs, VLAN 10, VLAN 10 name. Oh, sorry, config. We forgot the command configure mode. So config T. Okay, this is now the time to type the command VLAN 10 and then name. What's the VLAN 10? Admin. Exit. VLAN 20, name, VLAN 20 is faculty. Enter, exit, VLAN 30, name, students. Okay, let's check if what we did was right. So VLAN, show VLAN brief. Okay, we now have the 3 additional VLAN. We're now going to assign all of these to those. So next part is configuration mode again, config T. So interface, FA, so this is 5, FA5, FA4, FA6. So I'm gonna start with 5, FA0/5, enter, and then switch port, mode, access, again switch port, access. Now we're going to type the VLAN. Which VLAN is that? The 5 is to VLAN 10. Enter. So exit. Let's wait again. Interface, but it's gonna be 4, and then switch port access, mode access, another switch port, but it's gonna be VLAN 20. Okay, that's it. Then another one, interface. That's interface now is 6, and then enter yes, and then switch port again, switch port mode access, switch port VLAN access VLAN. Now it's gonna be 30. Okay, so let's try to check. Exit, show VLAN brief. Okay, we did it correctly. We have 10 for 5, 20 for 4, 34 fast Ethernet, 6, and last this last switch. Okay, so we're gonna do this again. Click CLI, it's the first command, enable. Next is config T, and then VL or VLAN 10 name. What's VLAN 10 is admin, and then exit VLAN again 20, and then name is VLAN 20 is faculty. Enter, and then exit again, then VLAN next is 30, name is VLAN 30 is students. There we go. So exit, show VLAN brief. Okay, correct. Now we have 10, 20, 30. We will now transfer the assigned, which is 7, 8, and 9. So again, config T, and then interface. Let's start first with 7, interface of A0/7, switch port, mode access, switch port access, VLAN. What VLAN is 7? VLAN 30. Enter, exit. Let's take again interface, but now it's going to be 8. Then interface, switch port mode access, switch port VLAN. Now it's gonna be VLAN 20 because it's for 8. VLAN 20. Enter. Last one, exit. Interface, it's gonna be interface 9. Enter. Switch port mode access, switch port VLAN, it's gonna be VLAN 10. Enter, and then exit, show VLAN brief. So okay, now we have the 10, the 8, the 20 VLAN to port 8, and so on and so forth. So it's connected already. So now we're going to connect this 2 and then this 3 again, no? So how do we do that? We're going to assign. Now we're going to use trunk. Before we did not use trunk, we used individual ports. So since there were, last time we used 3 ports because we had 3 VLANs, no? But now we're going to use trunk. So if you are going to assign the port to be the trunk, it will actually cover all the identified VLAN. So you just have to have one port or one line, and then it's gonna cover all the VLAN that was declared, no? So let's say, for example, let's identify port, let's say port 10. The port 10 of this one will be connected to the port 10 of this one also switch. Okay, so how do we connect that? We use crossover because these are similar devices. So 10 here and then 10 here also. Okay, so now we're going to declare this as a trunk. Okay, we're going to declare this port as a trunk. So both switches, we're going to do that. So let's have this first with this switch. So same process. Where's that? I'm in, so config T. Now next is we're going to identify the port, which is 10. Interface FA0/10. Okay, so now we're going to switch port again, but now we just use one switch port. Now mode, instead of access, we convert the interface 10 to trunk. There. Okay, it's being converted to trunk. So let's exit here. Let's also do that to the other switch. Exit. So we will know that it has been connected to another port, which is the trunk, because it's not in the VLAN 1 anymore. So let's try to show VLAN brief. So 20 here should not be present anymore. So where's the 20? Sorry, that should be 10. Okay, so FA09, 10 is not here anymore. FA09, FA011 already. So let's do that with the others. It's done here. Next is to the switch again. So again, let's do the enable. It's enabled already. Switch for config T, and then identify the port. So how do we do that? Interface FA0/10, and then switch port mode. It's not access anymore, but trunk. Okay, so press enter. Okay, let's see. Exit, and then 10 should not be here anymore. Show VLAN brief. So correct, VLAN FA10 is not here anymore. So let's check if, so we have converted this port here to trunk and trunk. So what should happen is that if we test the same VLAN on the connected switches, it should be successful, or else something's wrong. So VLAN 30 here to the VLAN 30 here also, this one should be successful. Yes, we did it correctly. Okay, how about the VLAN 20 here to the VLAN 20 here, faculty also, it's successful also. And then admin VLAN 10 to VLAN 10 is successful. So right, so how about let's try checking if it's VLAN 30 to the VLAN 20 here on the other side. The answer, the result should be failed. Okay, so 30 to 20 because they're on a different VLAN, so failed. So we did it correctly. So now it's time to connect these switches, this switch, okay, this one, okay, to the other one. So now we have let's use 20 of this one and the 20 also of this one. So the same process. So how do we do that? Let's do this here first. So enable, that's enabled already. Config T. So we're gonna use the 20. Wait, we did not connect it yet, but we can issue the command first. So what's that? Interface FA20. Okay, sorry, config T. Okay, we need to connect it first. Let's try connecting it first. Exit. Okay, so the 20 here, so another connection. So we're gonna connect it first, 20 to the 20 of this one also. Okay, actually we can connect it to another port, but just to unify, no? Okay, we will use the same port because anyway they are vacant. So we're gonna do it again, the configuration. So enter, so enable mode, config T, config terminal. Okay, so next is interface. Sorry about that, it should have been config terminal. So anyway, we can still continue. Interface FA FA0/20. Okay, and then what we're gonna do, the next command is switch port act mode trunk, because this is going to be a trunk also. Okay, so exit. So let's do also it the same in this and the other switch. So it's gonna be a trunk also, but it's gonna be 20. So it's enabled already, config T. So next is interface, switch interface FA0/20, and then what's the command? Switch port mode trunk. Remember, it's gonna be a trunk, switch to switch, because so that we're just gonna use one line. Enter, and then let's check it. Exit. So there it is. Let's check if all is green, but let's check if it really is correctly configured. So ping VLAN 30 to VLAN 30 here, successful. So VLAN 30 here to the other one, this one, it's gonna traverse another switch. So VLAN 30 to VLAN 30 here, successful again. So we did it correctly. So another one, 20 to 20 here. Where's 20? Successful again. 10 to 10. Okay, that's also successful. How about let's try to do the failed. So from VLAN 10 to VLAN 20 here, it should be failed. In progress and failed. So this one, this VLAN 30 to VLAN 10, it should be failed also. Okay, so I guess that's it, no? So this is how you use VLAN using the CLI and connect those switches using a trunk. Okay, so I hope guys that you'll be able to do this in your activity. This is very simple, and I hope that you learned about what and how to do this. Learn and be able to apply this on your laboratory activity. Okay, So thank you so much guys for listening, and bye bye.